do? And welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Excuse me. It's your man, Kurt Steele. Today is September 11th, 2024. And please remember those who lost our lives on that tragic day. I was at the Pentagon stationed there during it when it happened. I wasn't in the building that day, but I was stationed in the area and remember all those who lost their lives in that travesty in Pennsylvania, New York, and DC that day. All right, so today we're going to look at storylines heading into Week 2 versus Tampa Bay. Please do us a quick favor, like the video, share it with other Lions fans just like yourself. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. We are currently at 1856. Now it is time to bring in my co-host. Y'all know who it is, man. It's the host with the most from Jackson, Michigan. He's a former boxer, man. That dude got so many jobs, so many titles, man. Battle rapper, chef, whatever you want to call him, man. Defensive line coach. It's the Wolverine. Who?
It's do it all, man. It's Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
Man, and it's your auntie's favorite Lions content creator, the smoothest player from the Himalayas, my man, LL Cool Tones. What's going on, my guy?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, man, it is a hump day, baby, and time to look at the topics for today's show. But before we get into that, man, if you don't know how the show works, what we do here on this channel, because if you knew, you got to know, because everybody ain't, returning to the channel. Some people are new. Sorry about that. Had a faux pas with the doggone buttons. What we do here is we look at Detroit Lions news headlines and takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up. If we disagree, we say they are balled on, and we give you our reasons why. No hot takes here, just natural debate. We give you our genuine thoughts and opinions on what's going on with our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. Now it's time to look at the topics for today's show. Biggest headlines and headed into Week 2 on offense, and we got to do it for defense too, because you can't do one without the other. And some, updated Lions team news and notes on what's going on with the Detroit Lions right now, because we're the hottest ticket in town, man. So you got to know what's going on with the team. All right, definitely you got to start on offense because that's what we do, man. Our offense is the thing right now. So, LL. My man, talk to me about what's going on with the Detroit Lions offense.
Well. Of course, just some of the things that we're going to look into on the offense this week. Of course, number one bullet point, I believe is what everybody's been talking about is that boy J-Mo. And my question is, will he have a repeat performance? And I asked that question, as a part 2 to this question a little bit later, but he had his breakout game or, the game that we kind of been expecting of him or wanting to see from him. And it looked real good. But in doing that, we might have saw, some other players not get the attention that they, that they normally get. We even had some people, complaining about the play calling, things like that. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit more in just a moment as well. But, I'm with you, too. Let me say that part. But I truly believe that I don't know if he'll have that same performance, but he'll have a worthwhile performance, maybe even the same performance. Maybe they will, they'll get the rolling a little bit better to where the offense and, they can spread it around a little bit to where J-Mo can get those 5 balls and, and some yards attached to it. And some of the other players will be able to get off as well. The next one was, and that's just where it comes into about the play calling. What will the run pass split be this week? That's one thing that kind of caught my eye here. Let me see here. So this against the Rams, we had 28 pass attempts and 31 rushing attempts. Of course, 5 of those came in the overtime and things like that. But I personally was a little shocked by that because we do run it a lot. We do have a pretty even split, but that's one of the few times, especially over the last season, that we ran it more than we passed it. So will we get to see, Gibbs and Monty run it like we did, or will there be, more emphasis on the pass this week because some of those targets, that we're going to speak about next didn't get their, their fair shake. I guess a lot of people are just, asking. I watched Bomani Jones yesterday, his Monday show, but I watched it yesterday. He was saying, like, a lot of teams are saying it's just week one, but in a several different ways. So, some people, St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs fans, they're just saying, it's just week one, because my opinion, it was just week one. I don't think that means anything about those gentlemen, but I believe that there will be an emphasis on St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs, just simply because I feel like the Rams took that away from us. They took away the middle of the field. They took away the middle of the field, and they put a guy on a spot on St. Brown. So they kind of made that connection real tough, especially on third down. So I think that they might move him around, use some of that motion that we've seen, that we do use, but just that all the teams are using, not just to move their guys around and to, I guess, dictate coverage to see what they're playing and things like that. But so yeah, I do expect there to be an emphasis on on St. Brown and Laporta especially. But Gibbs, I'm not so sure about. Maybe there should be a different number in those splits between him and Montgomery. I truly believe that it should. I think Montgomery should probably be that number one. He should be the lead, and then we just bring in Gibbs to be that change of pace back. So if I could say anything, or I could phrase it to you guys, what do you guys think about those? Will J-Mo have a repeat performance? How will the play calling look, especially with that run pass split? And do you think we see more of or a better performance from St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
All right, I'll let you go first, Coach Jones. Go ahead and get your thoughts out, because you had some, some emotions. You was doing some, what do you call that? Some body language. So what you got, my man?
Yeah, so I think J-Mo will have a repeat performance. Now, I don't know if he'll have more touchdowns or more yards, but he will have the same, if not more of an impact than he had last game. And simply because, look at Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill is still having an impact every damn game because you cannot plan for speed. Like there's nothing that you can put on the field that's going to simulate Jameson Williams. Like there's nobody in the NFL that can do that. You can put your little quick, fast guy there, but he's not faster than J-Mo. So in that sense, I just think that he will he'll have a repeat season like he did last week. And then as far as the run pass split, I just think that depends on the game. I don't think I think there might be a preset. We might, go 48% pass, 52% run, or something like that. But when it comes down to it, man, it's just the flow of the game. It's how the game goes. And that would really determine what the run pass split is, because there's some teams that, come in, but they should run all over them, and you end up not being able to run the ball on them. So I think that's just game flow, how the game goes, man. And last but not least, I think that St. Brown is gonna get naked. And I don't mean that in the perverted way, but he about to get loose. He about to run amok on Tampa Bay, because they are without Antoine Winfield. He played that Debo position for the defense on the back end for Tampa Bay. He's a stud, and he ain't back there. So I think St. Brown and Laporta is about to run amok on Sunday. So if you do vote on fantasy, you better get both of them in there. So this is a bossed up take right here.
Definitely. I like all your points, man. I'm gonna say it takes a bossed up as well. I give you the reasons why I agree with you 100%. Definitely, my man LL. I expect way more from J-Mo. He had them big plays down the field in that regular season game versus the Bucs last year, and I believe he'll have another big day. They just don't have a defensive back with the wheels to keep up with Jameson Williams. They don't have a speed guy. Like a lot of teams have a guy, at least one cornerback that has a lot of speed, but even with all those guys that have a lot of speed, it's still, you can't keep up with him, just like you can't keep up with Tyreek Hill. I agree with that 100% there, Coach Jones. In the playoff game last year, the Lions passed the ball 43 times versus 26 runs. And it's because of the mismatches that the Detroit can take advantage of on that offense from the offensive side of the ball. What Jared Goff can do against that decimated Bucks defense as far as in that secondary, I think they will take advantage because not only would not have Antoine Winfield Jr., one of their starting cornerbacks looks like he's going to be doubtful as well because he was even held out last week and is not looking good this week. So we'll see that. And the Buccaneers play a different style of defense than the LA Rams. And for the St. Brown, Laporta, and Gibbs crowd, Ben Johnson will be able to scheme up better as far as what their opportunities will be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because those three guys had big games in the playoff game last year. The one thing that I would say dictates the run versus the pass versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's that one monster dude in the middle of their defensive line, Vita Vea. He dictates if you go run the ball at them. And as good as our offensive line is, you got to be careful trying to run at that dude because he eats up space. Man. That's a big dude, and he is this. I mean, you look at the touchdown run that Gibbs had versus the Bucks last year. It was kind of like they went away from it and then came back across his. Once they got past him, they came back behind him, and Gibbs got down the middle of the field. But you just can't run at that dude head up all game. That's a definition. That's a definition of insanity. Trying to do the same thing over and over again expects different results. But hey, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. We're covering headlines headed into week 2 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because it's free. It's free. If you enjoy the content, why not? It's free 99 and 50 free cents. All right, my man, Coach Jones, talk about those storylines headed to in the week 2 about our defense.
Yes, sir. So the biggest question of it all is, will DJ Reader be available for week 2? And as of right now, it's trending. There has been no setback so far. But you also know that Dan Campbell and the staff, they keep their eyes on it. And if they see any signs of struggle from Reader, he will not be active on Sunday. I'm just gonna let y'all know right now, man. They don't want that brother to get on the field and then have a setback. They want when he hit the ground, he hit the ground running. So that's a big part. But 2, he's not really needed that much because we held Kyren Williams at 50 yards rushing. So so I think we can afford to kind of slow roll DJ Reader into action, man. I don't think we need to rush him too much. But if the man is healthy, then come on with your badass. And then another guy who was inactive, but he wasn't on the injury report, was James Houston. I've been looking and searching for something that, maybe there was a lingering injury. Nah, man. There was no reports of this injury set him back or none of that. It was just basically you ain't play because you ain't play. And I don't know if they holding him back to be a trade piece, or maybe they're just holding him back for depth purposes. Because maybe a guy gets injured and then James Houston has to go in for him. Because I don't think that we're used to having depth as Detroit Lions. I think that we just so used to the ones playing, and whoever we got starting is whoever is playing. But really, like Dan Campbell said, we got the whole entire practice squad is on the roster, really. So that in itself says that James Houston may be a trade piece, but he just ain't playing, man, because he's not one of the best 53. And I know that's kind of hard for us to really get a grasp of, since we all thinking about his rookie year where he was just, Houston, we have a problem. But maybe they see something that we don't know, man. And I trust the talent evaluations. But second, this last thing here, the secondary is about to have another tough test. This Tampa Bay receiving core is deadly. I mean, they are deadly because you got Mike Evans, man, who's had 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. I think he might go to the Hall of Fame. Because I really don't know many people who had 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Herman Morton had 10 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. You know what I'm saying? So, this
Right.
is what it is. This is what it is, man. I'm being for real. Mike Evans is being slept on. And then his speedy buddy, Chris Godwin, is out there, man. That right there is something mean, man. And you got Rashad White coming out the backfield. I mean, that's potent tandem right there, man. So I think that secondary, they're gonna get another dose, another test, and that's gonna be a test because the secondary didn't play together all preseason long. So I think that's gonna come into an effect, man. But what's y'all takes on these? Do you feel me? Do you not feel me? You know what I'm saying? Where you at with it? Let me know something.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a bossed up on DJ Reader, and I'm gonna give you a bossed up on the secondary test, and I'm gonna give you a balled on James Houston. All right, here's what I got to say about these three topics, man. DJ Reader's gonna play. I just don't see him not playing because Dan Campbell said this was the target date, and I think they held him out last week because they just wanted to make sure he was good to go. I agree with you. No need to rush him back. The reason that James Houston was a healthy scratch is because of what the matchup dictated. It was going to be heavier on the defensive tackles because that wanted that rotation. We already know what we got in Hutch and Martin. Now we know what we got in Marcus Davenport, but the Rams were going to make it hard for the edge rushers because of the way they play offense. They can get the ball out fast. You're not going to have a chance where you're going to have a lot of opportunities to get sacks on Matthew Stafford because of the way they play offense. They know that it's going to be 2 seconds and the ball's going to be out. So I just think that it was a matchup that dictated him not being out and the more heavy defensive tackles being in the rotation. I think he will be in the game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they play a different style of offense. It is more traditional where you can get a traditional pass rush because they don't play that fast. Baker Mayfield is not the type of quarterback. He doesn't have that fast trigger where he has to, get the ball out of his hands that quickly. That ain't what he does. And I don't think nobody really does it like Stafford does and what they do out there in LA. So that's my thing with the dictation of that. Why they held him out. It's just the matchup dictated they have more defensive tackles than they did defensive end in that game. And then Mike Evans, man, he will be a big test for our secondary. But guess who's on the job? I think Carlton Davis would travel with his former teammate. He's our best, individual cover guy. He matches up. He's our biggest cover guy, and you want to match him up directly with his former teammate. He's practiced with him, practiced against him for years. And now that leaves that young fella, Terrion Arnold, and Amik Robinson to match up with Chris Godwin. And like you said, he's got a bunch of speed. And they have a bunch of smaller guys. You look at their receiving core, it's not far from what we have as far as height is concerned. They guys, most of those guys are like 6'1", 5'11". So they have a bunch of smaller, speedy guys in their receiving core. So it's gonna be a tough test. I agree with that 100%. But the only thing I really disagree on, I think the matchup as far as the defensive tackles needed that depth because the defensive ends didn't as much as pressure that they got, because we got a lot of pressure. We didn't get there just because of the fact that the way that the Rams offense played. They was like, we got to get this damn ball out because we're already sucking on our tackles. So we got to get the ball out. So I just think that the matchup dictated that. What you got, LL, on?
That's a very good point, Kurt. Okay. I see. A little something about defense.
I'm watching, brother. I'm watching. What you got, LL, on these on the defensive headlines?
Put the points up there one more time for me, please.
I got you.
All right. So DJ Reader, I don't know, because let me tell y'all a secret. Y'all friend Dan Campbell be lying. He lied to me about DJ Reader once before, and I don't know if I want to believe him ever again. He told me that he gave me numbers, and I got on this broadcast, and I said them numbers, and then he didn't even play. So I don't know what's gonna happen with DJ Reader. Will we need him? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think our run defense is pretty straight. It'll help to have him, but I don't know if we need him. James Houston injured again. I don't really know what's going on with him. I like everything that you guys said about him, especially the matchups. Maybe that's why he didn't play. Of course, that is how football goes. So, it is dictated by matchups, or should be dictated by matchups in certain positions, especially. So maybe that's why. I don't really know. I do agree with that, though, that, that this will be a different offense. I said it last week. I wanted to see this pass rush against a less savvy quarterback in offense, because exactly what you said, Kurt. Yeah, they was getting that mug out of there. Dan Campbell said it himself. Stafford knew exactly where to go and when to go there. So, I think it's a little bit different because Baker Mayfield is not the same quarterback as Matthew Stafford. One thing that kind of leads into that and into the next point, like you said, they have smaller receivers. They do have Mike Evans. No, I won't say anything negative about Mike Evans, but he ain't making Hall of Fame for this game. So yeah, he's a Hall of Famer for his career, but not for this game. So I expect them to, and I hope that there isn't something that they know from practice from them years. Like maybe Mike used to do Carlton Davis dirty all this whole time, and we thinking he about to do something, and it's not about to go that way. I hope that's not what it's going to be. But with those smaller guys, with smaller receivers, smaller quick receivers, you're going to need a more accurate quarterback. And y'all know Baker Mayfield necessarily ain't that on his best days or on most of his days. So, that could cause some issues. So, I like the man defense that we play, but that might cause for some more zone. Kind of take away some of that stuff that they try to do. I want to stay in the man. No, I think that's what they do. But yeah, I guess a boss middle on DJ Reader, because your friend is a liar, and boss up on the other two.
It's always somebody else's friend when they don't say say something that LL agrees with, man. It's always somebody else.
Of
man.
course.
But when they say something he agree with, he love them. That's his. That's
my friend.
But
that's Ace Boone Coon.
Man, when they say things, now y'all friend again. Man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. We're having fun right here on the Boss Up Ball Out Podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Now we have some things to catch you up on, some quick news about what's going on with the roster and everything. So the Lions added kicker Greg Joseph to the practice squad. I kind of saw this coming. And he's going to take the spot that was vacated by Chris Smith when he was signed to the active roster and then ultimately waived. But he's a 7-year vet. He played last played with the Green Bay Packers and spent some prior seasons in Minnesota. So we got a guy who has some, I guess, experience within the division. All right. But I just think that for him, I just think that it's a backup plan for Jake Bates if he starts to have, saying some down games or anything. I don't think that they're worried about it right now, but you got to have a backup plan. You got to have insurance. I just think, I'm gonna call Greg Joseph a Geico right now because he's insurance. All right, Lions power rankings, man. Let's look at the Lions, where they ranked in the current power rankings. USA Today, they were 2 last week. They're 2 this week. Pro Football Talk, they were 2 last week, and we're 2 this week. Again, ESPN Nation, the NFL Nation for ESPN, last week we were 4th, and we moved up a spot with the overtime victory to number 3. NFL.com, we were 4 last week, and like last week, I mean, just like the other poll, moved up to number 3. Yahoo Sports, we were 2 last week, and now we moved down to number 3. CBS Sports, we were 7th last week, moved up big 3 spots to number 7. All that stuff is subjective, man, with the power rankings, man. But it is what it is. I think that they're in most spots probably where I would want them to be, run around that 2 to 3 range. Not really mad about it. And I talked about this yesterday with my man Anthony from Rhode Lions UK on the live stream. The Lions have a roster spot open because there's only 52 on the roster when they released defensive lineman Chris Smith the other day. And that's one thing I was talking about earlier about the defensive tackle matchup, because you look at it, they signed a defense tackle and then they moved up Kyle Pecco to the active roster. They elevated him for the game. So that's that matchup dictated the defensive tackles for that game. But speculation is that either Allen Robinson or Tim Patrick will be signed to the active roster spot. I want to ask you guys, what do you think that the Lions should do with that active roster spot? My guy Mike Payton from over at ADZ Sports, he said, well, you still got elevations that they can do with the practice squad guys. So don't just sign a guy just to sign a guy. You know, give him a chance, get out there on the field, elevate him to see what he can do. And then if he makes an impact, sign who you want to sign. But okay, I'm gonna let my man LL step to the mic first, man. What do you think about Greg Joseph? And then what do you think about the power rankings? And then, of course, what we should do with that last roster spot.
They brought in Greg Joseph to Halloween is coming up, so they're gonna have him dress up as Jake Bates or something, I guess, for practice squad purposes. I don't know. I hope that he don't. You know, he's a backup kicker right now. I hope we never have to see him on the field. So shout out to you, man. But I hope I never get to know you like that. The power rankings, of course, I don't care about that. You can rank us whatever, as long as we, win the game or do whatever we're supposed to do. I don't care about them power rankings. Thanks for the respect, though. I do like that. I want to ask y'all about that soon, or maybe I ask y'all about that now. We turn to a bigger topic. But how are y'all liking the expectations out there? Like I tried to watch a couple of the pregame shows on Sunday, and a lot of them, like all of them, was on the Lions. So I don't. Usually that's a curse. Like whenever they pick the Lions, everybody say, "Oh no, they're going to lose," all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. Of course, it became more of a thing last year. Of course, when we were popular, so they was picking us and picking us and picking us. But now I think some of them really mean it. So I'm a little shocked and I'm a little worried. I don't really like that. I want y'all to hate us a little more. And what was the last one again? My apologies. The last one was
open roster spot.
Open roster spot. Give it to of course, bring up somebody, give a guy a chance on our team. But I would like to see Isaac Uku. I think that's his name. Just just more pass rushers. Y'all know I love that part of the game. You can never have too many pass rushers, and I think he'll be effective. I know we talked about James Houston and his matchup, maybe not being able to do some of the things. I think that Uku is just a little bit bigger than James Houston and a little bit, I don't want to say more prototypical, but he looks a little bit better doing it. Not saying he's better than James Houston at all, because I do like James Houston. I want him to play more. But, get that roster spot to Isaac Uku and let him go out there and play.
All right. So, Coach Jones, you're a defensive guy. All right. Talk to me about, the kicker situation, power rankings, whatever your thoughts are. And then, of course, that open roster spot.
Yeah, I echo LL. I hope I never see Brandon Joseph ever in my life. Nothing against you personally. I'm just saying I hope the Jake Bates experience is a good one, and we don't have to even mess with none of that. On to the power rankings. I'm happy with what it is, man. We get respect. Just the fact that we top 5 across all platforms. Let me know right now that y'all on the lookout, because y'all know we coming. We come to bite somebody's head off, man. We bite kneecaps, heads, shoulders, knees, toes, all of that. So, and then the last I forgot what the last topic was.
Open roster spot.
Yeah, the open roster spot, I think they're gonna carry that. I think that's gonna be a week-to-week thing. I think they're like Dan Campbell says, we got 13 practice squad players, man. He said everybody's gonna play. So I think each week, like you said, Kurt, they game plan and they go heavier on one side of the ball or at a position, because that's going the position that they think is going to have a big effect on the game. So I think whichever position that they want to have an extra guy on is what they're going to do for that practice squad spot. So I'm not sure exactly who's going to come up, but whoever they need to become that extra player for that extra depth that they need for that position for that game is who's going to get that spot. So I'm bossed up with it.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining us right here on the Boss Up All Our podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. We got a lot of crosstalk today, man. Everybody didn't agree with a lot of stuff today, man. I like that, though, because it's our true thoughts and opinions on what's going on with the Lions. And with the power rankings, myself, like I said, I like it where it's at, and pregame shows picking us. I'm not mad about that, because you know what? They supposed to pick us because we're supposed to be winning. That's just me. I don't get that luck stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because luck is comes from preparation. So if you prepare, you ain't got to worry about luck. All right. Make sure you do us a quick favor and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Make sure you go check out my man, the Wolver Lion Sports Talk, man. He does some great shorts over there on his YouTube channel as well. Check out your man, Kurt Steele. I post shorts from the recorded shows on my platforms as well. And then make sure you check out tomorrow. What is it? It's Thirsty Thursdays on LL's Instagram, man. So make sure you go check him out as he does his thing on every Thursday. It's thirsty every day over there on his Instagram channel, but it's especially thirsty on a Thursday. All right, time for final shots for today's show, man. Party shots, man. What you got, LL? Because you looking like you're chomping at the bit on this hump day.
I just remember when you say sometimes I think about that. I don't forget who it was now, but it was just a DM. It was funny. It just said, "We're Thirsty Thursday." Like no question mark, no nothing. Just "We're Thirsty Thursday." I was like, "What?" I look at like Kurt, but happy Wednesday, y'all. I keep saying it because it's a travesty in my area. No more dollar conies. They're not even cheap conies. $1.79 is the cheapest conies in the area. That's cheap, but not cheap enough. But find the best coney deal out there. Have a great lunch. Have a great rest of your week. All
right, Coach Jones, what you got, my man?
Yeah, man, I need y'all all to wish my Jackson Northwest Mounties good luck. We've hit a rough patch. We started the season 0-2, and we get in the conference play this week, this Friday. So just need we need to get going, man. And everything is still in front of us. The conference playoffs is all still in front of us right now, and we got to get together, man. Because watching film, man, we just 1 or 2 plays away from winning those games, and it's time, man. It's time, man. Playtime over with. Them boys know what it is, man. So shout out to the Jackson Northwest Mounties. We better do our thing. Shout out to the Detroit Lions, and shout out to the Michigan Wolverines, because I'll never want to see Davis Warren ever again.
Man, thank you guys for watching, man. For me on this hump day, man, shout out to the Flint Hamity football team for spanking Connor Stallions on his coaching debut. They put some numbers up on that cat, man. I don't want to ever hear that dude's name again, especially around my Wolverines, man. But shout out to them Hamity High football team, man. They made his life a living hell. And hey, you don't run up on a Flintstone because you're about to you get your head knocked off.
Yeah, Flint Hamity,
yeah.
Shout out to Flint Northwestern too.
Yeah, Coach Jones had to pop out, man. He had to go to work, man. Hey, thank you guys for checking us out right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors, man. Hey, do your man Kurt Steele a favor. Whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For Coach Mike Jones and LL Cool Torrance, this is Kurt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.